name's RJ, if you don't know me. I was an intern on the web dev team, but most of my work this summer was actually on addons.mozilla.org. I worked on a tool that validates add-ons on the site, so basically running a bunch of tests to make sure that the add-ons aren't creating security problems, they're not doing anything malicious. So sort of an agenda for what I wanted to talk about. First of all, why is this project important? Sort of give you an overview of what was previously on AMO, an overview of some of the tools and tests that I wrote, and then hopefully an idea of what's coming next. If you guys aren't familiar with AMO, addons.mozilla.org, it's the website where all of the Mozilla add-ons are hosted. Some quick numbers on AMO. You could see them on that last slide if you had good eyesight, but there's over 1.5 billion add-ons that have been downloaded from AMO. There's 160 million active daily add-ons, and AMO currently hosts over 10,000 add-ons. I think it's up somewhere over 12 or 13,000 at this particular moment. How does the current system work if you want to submit your add-on to AMO? So right now there's an editor-based review process. A developer will create their add-on, they'll upload it to AMO. It ran some basic checks, is this thing valid? Can we actually extract it and use it? But the majority of the review was done by an editor in person. They would download the add-on, they would test it, determine whether or not it worked as it was advertised. It's really slow. If you take a look at this queue, this is on my development environment, so it's a little out of date, but some of these add-ons have been in there for well over 100 days, over 3 months. So this is kind of a problem for developers who may have created something really cool and want to get their add-on out to the public. The other thing, even though manual reviews are great, they can only catch so much. If you've got a manual reviewer who isn't aware of a specific security vulnerability or problem, they might miss that particular thing when they're reviewing it. My project was to create these validation tools. And they can help a lot of people for a number of reasons. For the editors, first of all, they can write better reviews faster. If they've got these detailed feedback from test results, they can say, oh, I know exactly this problem that happened. They can put that into the review and give that immediately back to the developer. For the developers, it gives them instant feedback on their code. Whereas some of these developers might have had to wait 100 days to get a review from an editor, they can now upload it and immediately know, okay, I have 1, 2, 3 problems and can address them right there. So some of the tests that were run on the old system were basically, can we extract the add-on? All add-ons are basically just zip archive files, so are we able to open it up and use it? Does it contain the required files? So all add-ons, most add-ons need to contain this install.rdf file. So we would check that, parse it, ensure that it's valid, and that was the extent of the tests. The new system was designed to address all of these problems. So first of all, now we have different groups of tests. So we can have tests for extensions, tests for themes, tests that look at security, localization, sort of the old test package, general well-formed file layout. Each of these test groups contains a number of test cases. So in the example I've got up here, I've got the security group, and 2 of the test cases we have are unsafe JavaScript. This is basically checking to look if the developer is using eval, set timeout, a number of other different unsafe Mozilla settings that you guys can check out in the source code if you're technically inclined there. And each of these test cases will generate a number of results. So for instance, if we're taking the unsafe settings scan, we might find one setting and determine, okay, the setting's okay that they're using it, but we still want to flag it as a warning, but then we might find another one that we just want to disallow and generate a failure result. I'll do a bit of a live demo here. Some of the advantages here are that developers can run the tests at any time on their add-on, and they're always available for feedback and access on AMO. I recently just added some features so that they now run the tests on upload, which is what we'll take a look at here. First, let's see what happens if we try to upload an add-on that's broken in some way or another. So this is basically the file uploader on addons.mozilla.org. So we'll go ahead and choose this add-on. Go ahead and hit upload file. And previously what would have happened is it would have said, okay, we've run your test, your add-on's been accepted to AMO, and you would have then had to go through the review process. But now you can see we've got validation results that show up here. This particular add-on I've designed to generate an error but it's also got a number of warnings that you can see here as well, and we can scroll down and read through these. And you can see that we're showing all the warnings and results. The developer can scroll through as many of these as they want. This particular add-on, I'm using it as an example, generated clearly a lot of warnings here, so the developer is going to want to take a look at that. This particular version I uploaded, though, did generate an error, and we can see that indicated down here. So what happens as a result of that, we now have the option to go ahead and upload a new file, which we weren't able to do before. So if we upload a version that passes validation test, you saw before we only had the option to upload a new version. We now have the option to go ahead and continue, which means our version has been created. And if the developer wants to go back at any time, they can go ahead over to the versions and file page, and they'll get the same sort of validation interface where they can run the tests on the add-ons they've uploaded. And so this is what I was talking about a little earlier, where we can actually jump out to the file and see the offending source code. Little disclaimer, I can't take credit for this interface, but it's really cool that it's available there for me to integrate with. In addition to the developers running the test, which was the view we looked at, the editors who have a review-based interface, they can actually see the validation summary in context at the top. So they'll be able to drill down and see what, if any, tests failed, and they can address those in their review as they're creating that. A little technical details for some of you guys who might be interested in this. One of the ways we wanted to design this framework was so that it would take advantage of the way AMO is set up. Right now, AMO runs on somewhere between 20 and 30 web servers. So what we're doing here is the tests are all run in parallel. We'll run the critical group first, but then all the other tests are run asynchronously via AJAX requests. That's why we never actually left that page. You saw in the sample add-on I uploaded, we had like 100 particular errors. That was utilizing a tool known as JS Hydra, which is static analysis for JavaScript. So what this tool does is it's pretty cool. It will actually look at all the JavaScript source code and find all the global functions, variables, etc. Because one of the neat things, but also bad things about JavaScript is if you want to override something that's already defined, you can just go ahead and do that. And if an add-on's doing that in an unsafe way, we definitely want to make sure we flag that. So what's next? Some of the things that might be upcoming for this validation framework in the future. There's a tool, JSLint. I don't know if any of you guys have used this. I think they have a disclaimer on there. It says JSLint will hurt your feelings, and it definitely does. It's a very rigorous check on JavaScript source code, so we might potentially be able to integrate this into this framework in the future. We've also got a Python library for checking L10N completeness. That will hopefully be rolling in soon, but it's not in there right now. And what this is doing is it's saying if an add-on has been translated into multiple locales, we want to make sure that all the strings that that add-on is using have been translated as well. So if the developer was lazy and only translated half the strings, we're going to want to generate a flag for that. But really the idea here is that we could extend this with anything, right? Since we've now got this framework, if there's a cool test suite that comes along in the future and we want to integrate with that, it will hopefully be significantly easier to do so on AMO in the future. And so that's all I have. A couple thanks before I get to questions here. My mentor, Will Clauser, has been great. He's definitely taught me a lot this summer, and I've learned a lot from him as well. The entire Mozilla Web Dev team has been great. You guys have all been really fun to hang out with. The AMO team as well. And all of the 2009 Mozilla interns. I think we've had a lot of fun this summer, and hopefully this will not be the end for most of us.